if some of you know. Then also come from our mighty church called St. Peter's, that is Rwenga and that is Wakagango Shem. That's where my story begins, my origin and all that. Uh, Apparently, I am a graduate and I am employed with USAID LPS and Kore as a data officer, and we basically deal with HIV and TB. So that is the language that perhaps most of the time we often deal with. And God helped us, and we went back for school, and we just graduated. No, we have not graduated. We have just finished school in postgraduate in monitoring and evaluation. So that is the Karango. So in case you have someone who needs the M&A expert or specialist, we are here to do the work. So basically that is my background. I think we can go directly to the presentation. Yes. Uh, like our topic says, practicing self-care and mindfulness. That is something that we really need to look at today, and we shall have very good deliberation about it. And I don't want to be speaking alone, Mr. Presenter. I don't want to be speaking alone. We just need to collaborate and unmute some people's microphone so that we can be answering some questions and all that. I don't know whether my request is granted, Mr. President. Hello. Mr. Ivan, can you hear me?
Yes, we can,
Yes,
Simon.
I can hear you.
Yes, I was saying that I should not just keep speaking, but we just need to make it participatory. That is the best practice ever. So I was asking if my request is granted.
Thank you so much, Simon. You can share. You will stop at exactly 3:45. Then we shall come to the session of question and answer. Thank you.
Hey, okay. Thank you so much, Susan, for that. Yeah, then we go to direct to the to the presentation. Practicing self-care and mindfulness is a big topic, and most of the times it comes to you as a person. We really don't need to see a lot of people coming on board teaching you how to be mindful or taking care of yourself. That is something that we can really think about. But like we're going to discuss, we're going to see a lot of things that most of the times are biblical, how even the Bible defends it, and we shall learn so much from this kind of topic. Yes, then after that we shall start with self-care. We are going to I partitioned the discussion from self-care, mindfulness, then you see how both of them integrate and they go hand in hand. We shall see in the subsequent slides. Then what is self-care? That is what we need to first understand. Self-care involves taking actions to maintain physical, mental health, and emotional health. It is about recognizing and meeting your own needs. If we talk about maybe I want to first start with physical. I know most of you do physicals. Some of you are athletics. Some of you are footballers. Some of you do run and every time. And amidst all the work schedules that you have, maybe you're a student, you really don't have time, but you really need to take this seriously. You really need to exercise. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we really need to avoid some diseases. I don't know how many of you, maybe you can take note of it, that have ever gone to the hospital and says, "Can I know my my body mass index?" Then you want to understand how is my weight and my height going? Am I supposed to reduce? Am I supposed to increase? avoid the issues of diabetes at the later age of 40s and 50s. So we really need to think about that, and that one is a subject for discussion in our subsequent discussion in questions and answers. Then talk about mental health. I know most of you here, we are all mentally disturbed. That's one I know. We are all mentally disturbed. Maybe you have depression, you have anxiety, you have things that stresses you up and all that. But you as a person, what measures do you put in place to make sure that the mental health, your mental health is taken care of? You really need to understand uh, what things brings you stress. That is number one. Are they loans? Is this the lack of tuition? Is it the lack of maybe parents taking care of yourself and all that? We really need to understand the mental health part of it. And I think the month of June, last month, was the men's mental health matters. I think the campaigns were running all over the country and even international wide. So we really need to see you as a person, how did you benefit from it and all that. Then talk about emotional health. Emotional health, talk about how you change your emotions. Sometimes you may be, let me first give example. Maybe you fell in love with someone, but someone is not treating you so right, and you feel like giving up. You feel like you have even started thinking about to suicides, making suicide, having suicidal thoughts and all that. So we need to understand the emotional health. You as an individual. This is not about the group, but you. If it is Susan, we are talking about you. If it is Ivan, we're talking about you. If it is anyone else, we're talking about you as an individual. And you are personal and personalizable for controlling your emotional health. That is very important. Yeah, then basically we also talk about recognizing and meeting your own needs. If you want food and there's no any way you can get food, but what are the measures? How is it that one affect you? If you talk about also self-care, you really need to have some, you see your friends that just took a step, maybe in balanced diet, but for you, just there, you have to think about yourself and say, okay, what can I do for myself within my means to bridge this gap? So that is basically about the introduction about the self-care. So we come here to the next slide, talk about mental health is mental is emotional health. Sorry about that. Mental health is emotional health. The moment you are depressed, there is no any way you can be happy. Like that diagram tells you. So basically, you as an individual, where do you belong? You bring in green, bringing in let's see, dark red and all that. So, oh, most of us we fall in the middle part. We are either happy, we are not happy, we are like that. That's where most of us belong. Because today you have some money, and the next day you don't have some money, and your mood changes, your emotions changes. So that's basically about that present that image. Then you talk about why self care. Why is it important? That is very very critical also. We talk about prevents fatigue and stress. If you know how to manage your stress, you have work. Some of you have work that you work from morning up to midnight. There is no any way you can fail to be stressed, but you need to find out how to manage all that. Then it also improve overall well-being. If you know how to take care of yourself, you eat well, you do physical exercises, you manage your stress, you make sure that your emotions are down and cool down. There is no any way you can fail to improve your well-being. You even start gaining weight and all that. That is something that is good. Then it enhances productivity and focus. Yes, if you are if you know how to take care of yourself, there's no any way you can fail to be productive. If you're working, but every person regrets you amid the work that you're supposed to do, meaning you have a lot of things You're making yourself to be a multitasker. You are working on this one, you're working on this one, you're also working on this one. So there's no any way that you can be productive. But if you focus on one job at a time, like you're going to see in the subsequent slides, there's no any way you can fail to be productive. And even your efficiency at work also comes out because you are focused on one thing. That is basically why we need to understand the importance of self-care. Then go to we will really need to understand the understanding of mindfulness. That deep breath that you take, that those thoughts that you really have, those feelings, the sensation without judgment. That is what about the mindfulness. The mindfulness is being free, present, and engaged in the current moment. Have you ever thought about to when you are alone, maybe your friend has lost a relative, but you are in that shoe of your friend, then you go somewhere, think about it, be like, oh my dear. Then you start making those thoughts, those feelings, then they come. That's being mindfulness. You really need to see it and say, okay, this has happened. So how am I going to go out of it? That is taking a thought, taking a feel that you really need to understand. Then we also talk about the power of mindfulness. We had said it reduces stress and anxiety. That is important. Then improves emotional regulation. Then enhances self-awareness and focus. Those are the basically why mindfulness so much important. I know most of us are so mindful. There's a time when you're going out, you want to go out, but the group you're going out with, you don't, people are boozing, people are like, they are gangsters, but for you, be like, oh, this group I'm going to with, but it's not going to help me. You take that mindfulness action, be like, no, I'm not going anywhere. So after doing that one, there's no this aftermath, the results that will come out of that kind of an outing. There is no stress. You will not be having stress because people will just take booze. The next day, you're going to be, the anxiety is going to increase, the stress because they have wasted all the money and all that. So then improves emotional regulation. If you're so mindful, if you're talking with Simon and you know that some words are going to hurt you from my discussion with you, then you avoid me. You're mindful. You avoid me, then the next day you're going to be living happy. You know how to regulate your emotions and all that. Then self-awareness and focus. Yeah, you really need to know yourself. Am I the person who's short-tempered? What are the things that bring me short temper? Then you go away from them, and that is something amazing that we really need to learn from in this discussion. Then this is the picture. If you maximize, then you start reducing the stress, and that's the scale of the stress management levels. Then next slide, then go to ways of implementing self-care daily. We set boundaries. I think most of you understand this. If you set boundaries, there's nothing that perhaps can just enter within your circles and start giving you stress because you know. If I have a girlfriend, my girlfriend was supposed to do this and this and this. Beyond this, it is going to be uh, something that is not ethical. So you consider that one as an ethical issue because you have set a boundary. If you set boundaries that my friends, regardless of how tight we are, we are not supposed to cross some boundaries and come to some levels. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you, uh, why have you done this? Because however much we are close, we didn't understand that there is some limits, some range that you can't just cross. Then that's why we are just quoting from Matthew 5:37. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. If you have said, I'm not going with you somewhere, let that one be no. And also, this one comes to I didn't want to say ladies. I don't want to be quoted that, but that is it. If you are ready and you've said no consistently to someone, No, most of the gentlemen think that if you say no to mean is yes. I think it is not a right idea for the someone who's so religious, because if you say no, that should be your no, and that's something that should be respected, and taken into consideration as one of part of the signs of integrity. Then you talk about engage in enjoyable activities. That is the next way of implementing self-care daily. Engage in enjoyable activities. Like people say these days that life is short. You really need to enjoy life. You have to make time for your hobbies. Yeah, something that you have, that you love, that's something that you really enjoy, you personally. But sometimes we are fond of you are a student, but you want to die in books. You want to read from Monday to Sunday. You don't want to skip like one day and get some rest. You are unemployed. You are employed, but you find you're working from Monday to Sunday. You don't need even one day to go out with your friends. You say, I'm busy. You keep telling people that you're busy every time, that you even can't go out. So that is something that we need to take into consideration to avoid maybe stress and also emotional damage. Then that one is quoted in Ecclesiastes. Yes, Ecclesiastes 3, chapter 3, verses 12 to 13. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they are alive, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. That is the gift of God. That is why we can quote that one, of engage in enjoyable activities. Then talk about balanced diet and exercise. Like I was saying before, you really need to keep your body healthy. It is very, very important. It's not about sleeping. I know some of you come back from work and you just sleep immediately because you feel so tired. Okay, you're going to sleep and feel relaxed, but the body is going to be weak. You're going to reach 30 years, then you start going for scissors. Then, scissors, cesarean session for those who are producing the women, because you're not exercising, you didn't start early. So the first Corinthians 10 and to 13 uh, tells us, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it for the glory of God. You really need to do balanced diet. That is very, very important. Some of you are very mean to yourself. You get some kind of money, but you feel like the money is not enough. Then you spend the whole of it. Maybe you have spent on your spouse, maybe you have spent on your family, and all that. But you need to get some kind of balance and eat on your money. That is very crucial. Then you need to prioritize sleep. Most of the people don't talk about sleep. And when we're growing up, our mother used to tell us that if you oversleep, that is going to be a sign of poverty in future. But when you start working, you really need to recognize that your sleep is very important. It's very, very important because you need to ensure adequate sleep. However much you have so much tight schedules and all that, but you really need to ensure that you sleep at least 3 hours. 3 hours. Make sure 3 hours you get a nap, and that is so much important. Like Psalms 127, verses 2, verse 2 says, in vain you raise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat. For he grants sleep for those he loves. Now, who are you now to say that you can't sleep? That is something that you really need to think about. Then we talk about we are incorporating mindfulness into your life. Then you need to take a deep breath. That is mindfulness. Take a deep breathing. Practice breathing exercises every day. It looks like simple, but if you do it consistently, I swear it is going to bring results to you. Then it is talked about in Job 33:4. The Spirit of God has made me. The breath of the Almighty gives me life. Then you need to connect with nature. Spend time outdoors. That is Psalms talked about it in Psalms 19. 1. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. A day, some of you hear some people are organizing a trip to Kidepo, people are to Windy, and I feel like people are wasting money. But it's very, very important. It creates a memory in your mind, and is one way of reducing stress. There is no any way you can go to those wild and you remain the same. Really, really, and really, it really matters so much for you to connect with nature. Then we talk about meditation and prayer. You engage in prayer, reflective practices. Psalms 1, 2. But whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates in his law day and night. That's something that is really important. Most of times we live on prayer. Not most of the time, but all time we really live on the prayer. And when you meditate, when you have issues and get some meditation and you pray, I swear you just come out of that issue. Then talk about to single tasking. This is very crucial for people who are working, even those who are studying. There's no any way you can say that I'm going to read the which one? Chemistry, you read the physics, you read the math in 1 hour. There's no any way you can do that. And there's no any focus that you can do and you get the whole thing. I know most of you in your high school times you are like, me, I'm a 90-minute person. I read in 90 minutes. So you really need to think about it and focus if you want to be productive and effective. Then he talked about it in Proverbs 4:25. Let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you. That is it when you are trying to incorporate mindfulness into your life. Then talk about to integrating self-care and mindfulness. You schedule quiet time, reflect and pray regularly. It starts with scheduling. Scheduling can be using different measures. You can have your timetables in your room. You can make some calendar reminders, Google calendar reminders, and all that. You schedule that this time I'm going to be praying, this time I'm going to be doing this one, and you do it regularly. And if you do that one, then that is amazing of you. You'll be programmed, you're a programmed person. That is something that we really need to understand. If today you had this engagement of online meeting online church of Uganda, and you didn't think about it, you just entered the meeting 30 minutes after. Just know that you really need to focus on your schedules and all that. Then you talk about it in Mark 1:35. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up. They left the house and went off the solitary place where he prayed. Then we talk about mindful daily routines, integrate mindfulness in everyday activities. Mindfulness. Let's first go away from these slides. Mindfulness. You need to mind. For example, if you are using technology, which technology are you going to use? I know most of you are leveraging AI and technology. Is it the right thing for me to do? If they have given me work at office, I'm not going to use Chat GPT to get work that I'm going to present. Yet it's going to make a lot of yes, it's going to be helpful, but it may not bring out the other insight, the other impact that you've been doing. So the mindfulness that you really need to incorporate it in everyday activities. It is talked about to in I don't know which one. Then talk about to balance work and rest. I talked about it earlier. You listen to your body's needs. The body gets tired. You really need to understand that one. The body gets tired, and you really need to rest. If you don't rest, you're going to start doing quack work. You read things and you can't understand. If you're a student, uh, if you are if you're a wife, you start even quarreling with your husband just because there's too much that is going on within you because you are not resting. Every time is work, 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 work. For those who carry laptops to at home, you reach there, and immediately you do shower, then you start work immediately. You don't need to rest. That is something that is so much incredible. That is mindfulness and taking care of yourself. Then it is talked about in Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for there is time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. So we need to think about that. Uh, Begin small. Then this is how we start this journey. You begin small, make a gradual changes. Ezekiel 4:10. Do not despise those small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. I know most of you want to do business. I don't know how many people are like me who want to do business, but you feel like which business can I venture in? And you feel like the worry is just coming to you away, and you feel like, oh my God. But you really need to pray about it. If you pray about it and you start, those small things that you start are collectively at the end of the day, the end of the year. Like when you start saving like 10K, 10,000 per day, at the end of the day, uh, after 1 year, you'll find that money has accumulated. That is something of beginning small. Then if you start praying and meditation, if you have not been doing like practices like physicals and all that, you don't need to run for 100 kilometers when you're just starting. No, you just run small. Then you just keep up the pace. And at the end of the day, at the end of a certain period of time, you find yourself an expert in doing something. Then we talk about consistency. Consistency is very key. You develop a regular practice. Galatians 6:9 talks about let us not become uh, weary in doing good. For the for the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. That is something that really encourages us. Consistency goes to enables so many things. For example, if you talk about your behavior, if your behavior is consistent, you really need to change it if it is bad. If it is right, you have to be consistent. Consistency in serving, consistency in prayer, consistency in education. Some people start course and feel like, this is too much for me, let me first rest. That is lack of consistency and not knowing that next time when you come, you will really need to start from where you stopped. And that is something that we really need to think about. Uh, I think I can go to A and Q&A, question and answers. And if not, my time is very well spent. I was left with 3 minutes. Thank you so much, and over to you, Chair. Are you guys still on?
Yes, we are still on.
Yeah, I'm saying over to you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Simon, for the beautiful and wonderful insights. We do thank God for He has used you like that, and you shared as well practicing self-care and mindfulness. Thank you. May the good Lord bless you and continue using you. I'm going to invite Susan to take us through some questions, and then she'll give a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so
Susan,
much,
the mic is
Mr.
with you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ivan, and thank you so much, Simon. We thank the Lord who has given us this opportunity for us to gather in His presence. We can't take this lightly, and we thank Him so much. Thank you, friends who have gathered here. I think in case of any question, but then before we take up the question and answer session, friends, let's give virtual hand claps to Simon. He has done us well. Simon, I have one question for you, and it says, how do I break the syndrome of overworking to balance my work with the side gigs that I get? The presenter could highlight more on that for me. I think, Simon, you can take it up as I get. How can one break the syndrome of overworking to balance work and the side hustles around? Thank you. Over to you, Simon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Susan. The syndrome of overworking and the side gigs. Sometimes I think that's what most of the time that's what gives us sleepless nights, because I want to first give myself as an example. Sometimes when I like last 2 weeks, I was from doing exams, then I came, I found it was a reporting season, and I've not been sleeping. Why? Because of what I'm supposed to do at office, but because I have side gigs that gives me a lot of money. But the most important thing is scheduling your schedules. I think I talked about it. You really need to schedule to know what am I going to do this time. Then if you've been wasting time, there's wasting time and also utilizing time. If you've been wasting time, you wake up. I first give you an example. You have a side gig that you know that you're going to do, but you wake up at 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and you're going to reach at office probably at 9. Then you start work. Your work, because you didn't come early, you're going to start work. Then you work. Then there is those works that were not planned before. Then you start doing. Then you don't finish what you're supposed to do during that day. Then meaning you have a backlog that you're going to start on tomorrow. There's no any way you can fail to be stressed because of time management. That's number one. So scheduling your schedules and knowing that today I'm going to work on this, today I'm going to work on this, today I'm going to work on this, today I'm going to work on this. Then after you become an intentional worker. An intentional worker just goes, you finish what you're supposed to do because you're creating time for the side gig. That is something that should be borrowed from here. A side gig, you just give it, and those side gigs are always heavier, by the way, than the actual work. So the most important thing is to schedule your time. Schedule your time, know that this is going to happen at this time and also at this time. Thank you so much. I think I've answered the person who was asking so well.
Thank you so much. I think I can also add by telling the one who sent the question. It also takes setting priorities. What is your priority? Is it the side gig or the main one? Because if you don't prioritize, then you will do a lot of multitasking, and at the end of the day, you are non-productive, neither the other side nor this side. So, Simon, I have another question. It says, how do I build consistent habits? I try, but after like 2 weeks, I lose track. And I think I can add another question on consistency. Can you get someone who can help you in case of a mentor or someone to hold your hand to build that consistency? I think it's the same. You can take it up and you see how it goes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Susan, once again. Consistency. Consistency. I usually like the mentors, but when it comes to there are personal decisions that you take, even when the mentor, even when the mentor says that you have to do this, but the mentor has somewhere at stop that he stops or she stops. So most of the times you really need to take it upon yourself. For example, I want to first give a simple example. For example, if you say you're going to be training every day, me, I'm a footballer, and when I started working, I thought I didn't have time for exercising, but every day I work up to 6:30. 6:30, I go with my boot. The pitch is near. I go with my boot. I play for 30 minutes. So I come back from the pitch at 7:30 per day. At first, it was hard, but of course, because it is not within you. But there are those things that you feel that if I don't do this one, then it's going to be a mess up. You're going to mess it up. For example, if it is work, you've been using maybe Excel. We are talking about consistency. The next time you do work, you are presenting work to your boss in SPSS as if you're doing research. Then your boss will ask you, "Are you okay?" Or something is just happening to you because you just lost. Because you feel your mind, it feels like you want to explore something new, but the consistency. What is the standard? That is number one. What is the standard? How can I compare with the standard? How how can I compare with the standard within my means? Because your means also matters. So we really need to understand that it is you, not even your mentor. Your mentor can help you to give motivation that maybe you can do it. Yeah, even that time me I did it like this, so you can keep doing it. But how often will your mentor keep telling you? Because this is something that is going to happen over time. So you really need to take it upon yourself and feel like okay. Then the other good example is behavior change. If you feel like you've been a short-tempered person, there's no any way your mentor can consistently tell you that no, no, you have to stop this one because not every time you have your mentor. So you really need to take it upon yourself and you personalize it. Make sure that you change your behavior within you. So it goes back to you, not your mentor. Thank you so much.
Wow, behavior change. Thank you so much, Simon. Simon, could you kind of share with us? We are youth. What advice do you give us do you give us as youth who are we are lousy, no one knows the blood group, no one knows you said you work with HIV, people don't know the HIV status. Does it record that when you go for checkup, you only check HIV or there are other things you can check? Kind of share with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan, once again for the question. Yeah, I know we are youth. I think most of you are not even certified. I think that's why youth stops, right? So, but we really need to think about our life. I mean, this the shortcomings, the problems that we face, and all that. You really need to think about yourself. Yourself, like I said before, in the consistency. You need to think about yourself. Where am I heading? What are the things that I'm supposed to do that should keep me the fresh me, not the toxicated you? Because we really need to think about the future, the days whereby you are not going to be a youth again. If you're a woman, you really need to think about the days we are going to be a mother. And in this case, if you Susan brought in the issue of HIV, it may be my surprise here to find out that most people don't know their HIV status. It may be my surprise, but it is okay because tomorrow is another day. Then there are also people that are here that don't know their blood group. I'm just giving you the baselines. You don't know your blood group. The next thing is that you don't know your hepatitis B status. And every day you're meeting new people. There are some people I don't think they are in this group, but every day someone goes to town and plays sex with different partners, and the partners say, me, I don't have HIV, but you don't know about hepatitis B status. There are people that don't mind. Why get sick? I don't know. They are involved in risk activities. Risk activities talk about to every day you're in the bar. You don't know what happens next. Every time you feel like you're broke, you need to ask men money. You're not thinking about the future whereby you're going to produce kids. I don't know if one of you knows the PMTCT cascade for HIV pregnant mothers, how tiresome it is. Because you're not thinking about now when you're when he is still youth, but that time would come, and if you don't take about it, away from HIV, you take a lot of sugars. You don't do physicals, but you're going to reach 30. Now you're making money so hard. You're going to reach 35, 40 years. I wish I can say something here. Then you see how people die. The diseases, the common diseases here in Uganda, how people die and all that. Then you really need to think about all that because you're not taking care of yourself right now because you're taking a lot of sugars. They tell you that if you eat this one, it's going to affect you. But when you reach 40 years, then you start think diabetic. You are hypertensive at that age. And why have you been suffering to look for money for all these years? So as youth, I really want to advise you to take care of yourselves. Yes, someone brought in the sickle cell issue. The sickle cell issue. And going back to mindfulness, I know most of you are still young. I know most of you are married. But how often do you ask the person you're going to have a sexual intercourse with? How is someone you're going to marry? That how is your sickle cell status? Do you know those things? Because those are things that are hereditary. If someone is there is also what you call epilepsy. For those who know Nyankore and Simbo. You don't know about those statuses, but because we are used, we have just found ourselves here and we can just make life meet. My friend, it is more than that. It is very hard to live in a complicated life that is full of diseases. I know most of you, some of you may have testified if you have a sick person, how tiresome, how costly it is to take care of those people. I think I can just cheer out from that question as of now. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Simon. Friends, we can give Simon virtual hand claps. He has done us well. And thank you so much, Simon, for honoring my invitation. Friend Simon is my brother, my biological brother. He's the one I follow. And thank you so much for not looking at me as a young one, but when I called upon you to come and share, you took it up. We thank God who has used you. And I know our time is fast spent. I will request the host to make Uncle Bob a co-host. Then he will lead us the closing prayer. Uncle Bob.